Well, for those who are not in the know, let's go over the gist of everything. Drake is not the guy and his head's in the clouds no more, but this was the person who was supposed to take down Drake, who embarrassed him, Pusha T. And because of that, he paid an ultimate price that many people didn't even understand. Drake was the hero, the light in the hip hop era. People looked at him in high regards, and he was the baby faced kid that we watched grow up in this. And he was wearing business suits, acting, and he was the Degrassi kid, the joy, the smile, the so loving songs, and then he flipped into a gangster, an intimidator, womanizer, just reckless human being who took hip hop to its lowest point ever and lured it way, way into darkness. And people are like, what happened? This is what happened to the kid that we followed that was this like loving kid, this joy with these songs and R&B music, and now he's flipped and turned into such a demon. Like, what happened? Because this person was a fraud the whole time, and no one knew. And Pusha T, who was clearly just hating the individual, nearly won in the public perception that he beat Drake. And because of it, it opened the door for Kendrick to smash it. He put the chink in the mirror. That little crack in the mirror, Pusha T put it there. And even though he put a little crack in the mirror, he didn't win. He was blackballed from his own record label. Drake isn't even on the label, but had so much power in the industry that Pusha T could not respond. I would sit there and go, well, where's Pusha T at? You know, he's lazy. He's not putting out anything. Like, what's going on? So Pusha T did an interview to explain that Drake had rigged the system. Drake had came against him and totally destroyed it, what he was building on. He had features on records and he couldn't even put them out because Drake took his Pop Smoke feature and had it removed. Had UMG put weight on it, and his Rick Ross Maybach Music 6, you know, and Pop Smoke Paranoia, his verses is wiped off those songs. And Push was out there in the cold like, okay, I can't get on any of these artists' records because they're afraid I may say something back towards Drake. That's crazy. So, you're silencing an artist just to make it look like another artist won, and he's dominating the light, and because he doesn't want to battle anymore, it's over. He got to go do something else because he wants it over. Now, it's only so long these instances are going to help you. There's only so long all of these narratives are going to expand and let you do what you want to do creatively as an artist. So he had to pay, the Clipse had to pay $7 million, not $7 million, seven figures to get out of the deal. with Def Jam so that they can go out and do music the way that they know how to do music, the way they want to do music, and don't have to deal with this nonsense anymore. But this is another black eye in the game when it comes to Drake, because everybody sees him as a flake and don't see him or respect him in any way, shape, or form. This is just another, another one of those moments where everybody could look at it and say, yep, this is it. We told y'all about Drake. Y'all loved him. Now look at him. Now people had gotten exhausted with Drake. He's been on top for like 15 years of doing this. So a lot of it could be people's exhaustion of Drake. So they were so excited to see somebody beat him or come close to beating him. They didn't know what to do. They were so over the moon with it. Now, people have grown tired because his music is it really his music? You see, Pusha was alluding to a lot of this. But when they were forced to buy out of their Def Jam contract, to get to another side, we started to see the cracks in the mirror once again. So all you have to do is follow the narratives. The narratives have Kendrick Lamar, the one they can't blackball, the one they can't do anything about, because he's so big of an artist, they can't shut him down. If they came through and silenced Kendrick, tried to bar Kendrick Lamar, well, that would be a massive problem. Now, Def Jam tried to do that with Pusha to take away a feature from Kendrick Lamar and silence a Kendrick Lamar verse, and they said, nah, we ain't doing that. Now, all right. You get it? But don't forget, the word is that Kendrick Lamar verses were removed in the past by Drake. That there was some blockage going on with some verses. Allegedly, they're trying to say UMG was blocking Kendrick at the request of Audrey Drake Graham. Now you got that fat no-neck nigga named Academics who will run around here and pretend like that was the case. He's going to pretend as if the situation required for him to be in that predicament when there was nothing that would indicate such an incident would happen. There was so many problems going on in that scenario. But Academics is claiming that this makes UMG look guilty and that, they got $1 billion lawsuit going on and they want to settle with Drake and all these lies. When is someone going to start telling the truth? That's what the whole world is really waiting on. You're looking for that response because what you're seeing is a repeat, a constant repeat and a flux of someone that doesn't understand his business. Drake is someone who can't take a loss. And he doesn't mentally know how to deal with it. So he reverts back to what his ancestors did. Lie, manipulate, change the narrative to make it look like he's winning. And all this time, people really didn't know all the devious things he was doing behind the scenes to try to ruin people's lives. He's more of a parasite than he is a cure. And then you look at Push and the rest of these guys like K-Dot, and you say, okay, well, they come in here to save the culture. But Pusha T, if it comes to find out that Push wasn't out due to the fact of what happened in the rap battle, then there's a great argument to the fact that Drake's interference in all of this, that's the culprit. That's the reason. That is the big issue. That's the conundrum people have got to figure out. They need to know what's wrong here, because clearly there's something wrong, and no one can seem to figure it out or put their finger on the problem. And because they can't do that, others have been made to suffer. Now, you're going to have a lot of people tell you a lot of different things. You're going to hear a lot of different stories, a lot of scenarios that don't make any sense. But at the end of the day, you're going to know, and you're going to, believe me, you're going to know, this is the only one that works. Because in reality, nobody cares about excuses. They only want results. So when you don't come with results, this is what happens. When you come with detachment, this is what happens. When you come with the nonsense. Now, if the verse that they have isn't disrespecting Drake, or if it is, no artist should be able to tell another artist, no artist should have the right to tell another artist what they could say on their records that don't concern you. You shouldn't have that power to veto another. Here, look, let's get to the situation where we need to get this thing addressed. Drake is a pathetic human being. We already know that. So we know that he's a pathetic human being who likes attention. He wants everybody to admire him and say all these different things. And once you start seeing all of these ilks start happening, you started to see all of the situations turn around where it just didn't make any sense. Now, if Pusha T can put together a classic album with the Clipse and they're not dissing Drake on the album, even if the Kendrick Lamar verse isn't referencing Drake, Drake knows he's done. He's the one that's on the hot seat. That album he put out that they try to pay to say is great, well, at the end of it, you will always say, Pusha T, most of y'all credit him for beating Drake. I think Drake won because he didn't beat Drake. He wasn't toppled. Drake put out this God-forbidden crap with just to throw it and keep his name out there with some shitty songs to listen to. And it didn't do anything that they thought it was going to do because it was another crap job by the one that's called Drake. And all the people who were Drake fans, they've grown up. Some of them, most of them. And they don't listen to Drake anymore. They got some other terrible music that they listen to now. Like Little Syrupy Guy. Drake needs to be focused on his album, his music, because that's why he's attaching himself to these syrupy rappers. It's over for him, and he knows it. Now, because when the smoke clears, Drake won't be there. That's what people need to understand. When the smoke clears, Drake will be removed. He cannot do anything with Kendrick. Kendrick just beat his own damn record. Okay? He beat his own record. Like, how do you do that? Not Like Us was number one for 22 weeks. Luther followed that and has been number one for 23 weeks and counting. And as long as this tour is going on, that's never slowing down. I mean, Not Like Us just went triple platinum in Brazil. 3 million records sold in Brazil. In Brazil, they're going dun 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 dun. Oh my God. And where Drake used to have power, people was like, good, we get to say we don't like Drake, good, F him. And when he crossed me, it was just clear. Just because I said Euphoria was better and he got smoked on Euphoria, he got smoked on Euphoria. I mean, it just is what it is, man. This guy's done for. You know, once he realized what hip hop really is and what it's truly about, the essence, he should go listen to LL Cool J's album, The Force, and see what hip hop really means and what it really is to people. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Instead of using hip hop as a prop to push yourself up. Don't sit up there and be like, oh, I'm so blessed. This was like, you know, an artist that inspired me my entire life. So I'm very moved. I want to be near this person and all that nonsense. Straight up nonsense. Every time he works with an artist, this is an artist who inspired me. He wants to do anything that's trendy that everybody else is a part of. He wants to get close to Sade. Oh, Sade, you know, I want to work with you. You know, I was growing up so attracted to you. You didn't know nothing about no damn Sade. Look, this dude is so phony. I was like, you like Sade because the rappers used to talk about Sade. So like, get out of here, man. He drips of desperation. Remember the Jennifer Lopez relationship? Prime example. Drips of desperation for attention. And it's just that we didn't see it before because we didn't see the moves he was doing behind the scenes and nobody was calling it out. But now that Push is really exposing what's been going on behind the scenes, now I would understand why he wasn't putting out certain music and why he just was disappearing. You still lost to Drake, though. I don't care what y'all say. The Duppy freestyle was way better than that 80 crap. Story of 80. I'm still baffled by what y'all was listening to. Now, anyway, I'm out. Don't forget to support the page. And I'm out. I can't say another word about this. Exhausted from this Drake dude. I was doing fine not speaking about him. Deuces.